So, today I want to talk to you about a really important topic about inflammation. Think of it as the hidden fire in your body, and we're going to talk about the foods that can extinguish it. So, let's think about this. Imagine that your body is a city that never sleeps, and your heart is the city hall, right? And your brain is the control tower, and your blood vessels are highways, right? They go and connect everything. And let's say that your immune system are the police, the firefighters, and the repair crews. Now, most days, your crews are calm, right? But if you twist an ankle, like I just broke my ankle back in March, or let's say you catch the flu or you cut your finger, your alarms go off, right? That's when the crews are supposed to come in. The roads close, repairs happen, right? This is inflammation, acute inflammation. And in short bursts, it's your body's emergency absolute brilliance, right? But here's the problem. So, in many of us, the sirens never stop. Imagine if you're listening in a city and the sirens just keep going and going and going. You're like, why don't they ever turn off? That is something like fire trucks, right? They're racing night and day, blocking traffic, sirens are blaring. Even when there's really no real danger per se, you didn't have that acute injury. Over time, that chaos damages the city itself, right? So buildings crumble, your bridges weaken, and your communication breaks down. And that's what we call chronic inflammation. And it quietly fuels heart disease, Alzheimer's, autoimmune conditions, and even some cancers. So let's think about this like a match in a gasoline, right? So every fire starts with a match, an injury, an infection, even a sugary breakfast. The match itself isn't so much the problem. The danger comes from when you keep throwing the gasoline on the fire. And here's the part most people miss. You throw gasoline with your fork. So meals that are high in refined sugars, processed meats, unhealthy fats, they are like pouring an accelerant on the flames. But whole colorful foods, they're like calling in specialized fire crews who know exactly how to put out the blaze without wrecking the neighborhood. So inside your body, food isn't just fuel, it's a conversation. So every bite tells your immune system either one, stand down, it's okay, or all units respond, we're under attack, right? So the ultra processed foods, they send that false alarm. They spike your blood sugar. They flood your bloodstream with unhealthy fatty acids. They generate unstable molecules called free radicals, right? You can think of them as vandals in your cellular city. Immune cells hear the chaos and then they flood the streets. They release, inflammatory chemicals. And if you do that 3 times a day, your city is constantly in crisis mode. Now, when you think about whole plant foods, they flip the switch, right? They carry antioxidants, they disarm the free radicals before they can cause trouble. And they stabilize your mitochondria, right? Those little power plants in your cells. So they burn, cleaner fuel instead of spewing inflammatory exhaust. They feed your gut microbiome, those little microscopic like city planners who release compounds that calm your immune crews. Now, if you've never heard of what I describe here as the Dietary Inflammatory Index or the DII, think of it as a heat score for your diet. So, scientists looked at literally thousands of studies measuring how specific foods affect inflammatory markers in your blood. Things like C reactive protein, interleukins, these are chemical messengers of inflammation. And every food gets a score. So, positive numbers equal more heat. They fan the flames of inflammation. Negative numbers equal cooling, and that they really help put the fire out. So the lower or the more negative your DII score, the calmer your immune system. So the higher or the more positive, right, the more your immune crews are kind of stuck in this permanent siren mode. So here are the top cooling foods and why they're so effective in city terms and in cellular science. We're going to talk about them. Is berries number one. So imagine sitting in like a team of, let's say, elite forces with smoke detectors in every pocket, right? So there are anthocyanins. They patrol the streets, finding and neutralizing free radicals, unstable molecules that act like vandals, right? Breaking windows, damaging DNA, spray painting walls, oxidizing fats, or setting small fires, right? Those triggering inflammation. So fewer free radicals means fewer false alarms for your immune crews. Leafy greens. These are your street sweepers. Imagine, and city policymakers. Their vitamin K works like a law that tells your immune cells when to respond and when to stand down, reducing unnecessary inflammatory arrest, right? Their folate supports DNA repair, so damaged buildings in your city don't crumble into bigger problems. Let's talk about bean and lentils. These are quietly working in the background. These are your civil engineers. They're your soluble fiber that feed the gut microbiome. Remember that gut microbiome is kind of like your unseen city planners. When well fed, these bacteria produce short chain fatty acids like butyrate that send messages to your immune headquarters. The streets are safe, cancel the alert. Then we have nuts and seeds. These are your structural repair crews, right? Omega-3s, fats from walnuts, flax, and chia, these slipped into damaged cell membranes. It's kind of like fresh mortar between bricks, restoring the barrier so neighborhood cells, right, can talk to each other without static. And that calms the miscommunications that can spark immune overreactions. Then you have your whole grains. This is your city's energy department, right? So slow burning carbs prevent power surges, those rapid blood sugar spikes that make your pancreas pump out insulin in panic mode, which in turn stirs up inflammatory pathways. It's a steady energy flow that keeps your immune crews relaxed and ready only for real emergencies. And then some other things to think about are colorful vegetables. Colorful vegetables, oh my goodness. These are specialized units with unique skills. For example, orange carrots and sweet potatoes, these have beta carotene, right, which turns into vitamin A. This is the building inspector that makes strong, resilient barriers in your skin, gut, and lungs. You have red peppers and tomatoes, which are vitamin C and lycoprotein. They act like corrosion prevention crews, right, protecting the delicate infrastructure from oxidative wear and tear. Then you have your purple cabbage and beets. They also contain anthocyanins and what we call betalains that strengthen blood vessel walls, right, making it harder for inflammatory damage to take hold. So now the DII revealed something really quite interesting, however. Many people's diets hit their highest inflammatory peak before 9 a.m. And why is that? Well, a breakfast that's a sugary cereal, sweetened coffee, and white toast is the dietary equivalent of leaning on the city's emergency siren button. You have blood sugar spikes, right? Free radicals multiply, and inflammatory chemicals flood the system, and sometimes for hours. So then by lunchtime, your city roads are clogged, right? Your crews are exhausted, and nothing's getting repaired, all because of the morning call you didn't know you made. So what do? Well, you don't need to, necessarily bulldoze the whole city overnight. Just start by cutting the gasoline, right? Stop, accelerating the flames and calling in the right teams, right? So swap soda for sparkling water with lemon. That removes a sugar surge and hydrates your streets. Trade white bread for dense whole grain loaf. That really steadies your energy grid. Replace meat heavy dinners with colorful bean and veggie stews. That feeds your microbiome and calls off unnecessary immune patrols. Because every small swap is like repairing one more block. And over time, you're not just, preventing disaster, you're building a city that runs smoothly and you barely hear the sirens anymore. Remember, chronic inflammation isn't just a lab result. It's a hidden citywide emergency that shapes the future of your health. And left unchecked, right, if it just runs unchecked, it quietly damages your blood vessels, erodes your memory, disrupts your metabolism, and leaves you vulnerable to disease. But again, the solution isn't hidden in a pill bottle, it's on your plate. So every bite you take sends your immune system a message, repair mode or attack mode. So when you consistently fill your body with cooling, nutrient-rich foods, berries, leafy greens, beans, nuts, whole grains, colorful vegetables, those sirens fade, the roads reopen, and your repair crews work without chaos, and your city starts to thrive again. So, when you think about this, you already know why food matters, right? Now it's time to make it effortless to put that knowledge into action. So I created a special tracker. It's called the Anti-Inflammatory Meal Builder and Tracker. It's a simple daily guide, one, to spot and reduce the gasoline foods. Secondary, load up the firefighter foods, track your daily fire score, shop with a grocery list that explains exactly why each food works at the cellular level, and then plan your week with anti-inflammatory breakfast, lunch, dinners, and snacks. There's even 3 recipes available. And it's available right at the link below on Substack. Substack is my newsletter. Sign up, you get the worksheet for free. and you can download it and start really preparing, the inflammation in your body today. Thanks for being here, everyone. I'll see you next time. I'm Dr. Lori Marvis. Now, if you've ever taken a multivitamin, you've probably assumed it's giving you everything that you need. But the truth is, most women's multivitamins are filled with nutrients that you're already getting from your food, while skipping the ones your body really needs to thrive. And that's where the For Her Essential System comes in. I co-created the For Her Essential System with Complement, a science-backed supplement system that provides the essential nutrients women need for optimal health. It's designed to support hormonal balance, energy, bone health, and much more, with just the nutrients we struggle to get without the unnecessary fillers. What sets the For Her Essential System apart is that it is specifically formulated for women, with dosages based on the latest research, ensuring you get what you need, so you can thrive in everything you do, all day, every day. Now, to learn more and try it for yourself, visit the link in the description below and use the code for an exclusive discount. Take control of your health with the nutrients that matter most.